Okay, the notorious BTK serial killer Dennis Rader is speaking out from prison now, calling Rex Heuermann, quote, a clone of me. In a letter to Fox News, Rader writes, I was arrested at age 59, married, 2 kids, husband, dad, longtime serial killer, stalker, used electronic devices, lives in a neighborhood undetected. Heuermann was taken down by DNA and electronics, his downfall, much like me. It's what BTK said. Yeah, he goes on to say he predicted many years ago that the Gilgo Beach murderer was someone just like him, and Rader is currently serving a life sentence for ruthlessly killing 10 people in Wichita, Kansas over the course of 17 years. My next guest knows Dennis Rader and the minds of serial killers really like no one else. Dr. Katherine Ramsland is a professor of forensic psychology and author of many books, including How to Catch a Killer, and she joins me now. Dr. Ramsland, it's always nice to see you. Thank you for coming on again tonight, especially with this new development that BTK has written this letter calling the Long Island serial killer a clone of him. I mean, you know BTK really unlike anyone else with all, you've dealt with him face to face through your studies. I mean, what do you make of this new letter?
Doesn't surprise me. First, Rader used role models himself. He was influenced by Harvey Glattman and H.H. Holmes, to name a few, but he also wants to have some spotlight in this. He wants people to know that he made the right prediction, and he wants people to know how similar Heuermann is to him. I think he really just likes to have the attention back on him. What he did do, though, is he lays out all these parallels, and what surprised me is he forgot one, and that is that when he was talking to the police right before he was caught, he had sent them a note telling them to address him as Rex. And by that, he meant they were to talk to his private parts. So Rex also is a parallel in this case, a very odd little fact.
So Rex is, if I'm following you correctly, and I don't want to say anything out of turn, but Rex is the name that he had for his penis, BTK.
Yes, that's right.
So interesting. I mean, I guess just a coincidence that this other guy is now named Rex, but it is interesting that BTK left that out in this letter talking about their similarities.
Yeah, it kind of surprises me because I think he would. I mean, he told it to me. It's in the book. I'm surprised that he forgot about that.
Yeah, very, very strange. I want to ask you, it's interesting, both with BTK and with the Long Island serial killer, they both seem to sort of taunt the victims from what we know, and even taunt the media to an extent. What do you make of that? What do you make of that similarity between the two?
Well, there actually are some differences, some pretty significant differences. Rader entered homes of ordinary people to murder them. He wasn't looking for sex workers, which is what Heuermann was doing. He didn't really show disdain for his victims the way Heuermann is doing. So there are some differences. Plus, Rader handed the police the computer disk that got him caught. That's very different from what happened with Heuermann. So to kind of put these similarities out there is a bit disingenuous. He really tripped himself up in a way that was not the case with this Long Island case.
Yeah, and you made a good point about BTK wanting attention. I remember with other cases, too, he's written letters, and it seems like he tries to find these similarities and sort of remain relevant to a certain extent. Is there any chance that that the Long Island serial killer and BTK could have corresponded, or that that he could have been inspired by BTK in some way, do you think?
I don't see it. I certainly hadn't heard of any correspondence between them. I think, and Rader would have told me if he had letters from someone like this. I think Rader would like to believe that somebody would copy him, but Heuermann was so different in the kinds of victims he was going after and what he was doing. I don't really see him looking to Rader as his role model. I don't know that he looked to anyone, but we don't even know if he was motivated in the same way. For all we know, he was motivated by anger or a mission to punish sex workers. We don't know what his motivation was, so he might not be as much like Rader as Rader thinks.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.